Hi everybody, and welcome to our second training video / culinary class sponsored by DKB Household. My name is Matt Zagorski, and with me today is the ever glamorous, my sister from another mister, Nicole Lyons.
And where are we today, Matt?
We are at Marcel's Culinary Experience in beautiful Glen Ellen, Illinois. We're just a little bit outside Chicago. Now, if you've never heard of Marcel's, it is a completely fabulous store. She has a wonderful balance of products. And in 2014, Marcel's was voted the best culinary store here in the country at the International Houseware Show. It's really an honor to be here.
Well, I can't wait to go shopping, so we need to finish our work so we can do that.
Amen, let's get going.
All right, so what are we gonna talk to you about today? We're gonna talk about the Zyliss Easy Spin 2 stainless steel salad spinner. We're gonna go over our new Cole & Mason Barkway and Burden carving, chopping, and serving boards. And also, we can't forget our friend, the Saunderton, which is a real space saver in the kitchen cupboards, and it really cleans up your spice drawer mess. So we'll talk you through how you can organize yourself and have a beautiful tool on top of that.
And we're really excited to show you some great recipes. But before we do that, Nicole, why don't we take a couple minutes and you can tell us about these products in a little more depth.
Sounds like a plan. I'm ready to get my hands dirty and have some fun, and then I can go shopping.
Let's get going.
All right. I'm really excited to be talking about our brand new Easy Spin 2 salad spinner from Zyliss. Pretty much everybody on my gift list is getting this from me this year, whether they know they need it or not. Many of you don't realize that the reason why you need to spin your greens not only is to clean and dry them, but it is also so that your salad dressings adhere better to the lettuces and therefore taste better. We've all been to a restaurant and had a watery salad where you get to the bottom of the plate and you have diluted dressing and it's super watery and your salad didn't taste that great. Well, one of the reasons for that is the greens not being dry enough for the salad dressings to adhere. So not only are we taking a product that we've had in our lineup for many, many years, we're not the inventors of the product, but we are some of the first to market in this item many, many years back. But we're taking it and making it more beautiful, and hopefully something that you'll be proud to put on your table this summer when you're entertaining at either an outdoor barbecue or a picnic, or even at your own dining table. So you'll notice we have that patented Aquavent technology basket, which has the little ridges here that help to, basically the lettuce gets trapped there, and then as you're spinning it around, when it bumps into this, it helps to get more of the water off and into your bowl where you want it. What I like to do is after I've got my greens spun dry, I like to empty the bowl, dry it out, and then I put my greens back in and either store them in the refrigerator or take it to the table for serving. So now you have this beautiful stainless steel bowl that you can be happy to take to your table when your friends and family come for dinner. The Zyliss Easy Spin 2 salad spinner is in my kitchen, and hopefully it will soon be in yours.
Today we're going to make one of my all-time favorite salads. It is full of bright flavors, really great textures, and I hope you and your family enjoy it as much as mine does. Today we're going to make a fennel, arugula, and orange salad with a lemon vinaigrette. Now, the first one we want to do is prepare our lettuce. So today we're going to use arugula as our lettuce. Are you familiar with arugula?
I love arugula. It's absolutely one of my favorite greens.
I love arugula. Now the texture on this, it's not quite as crispy as like an iceberg, but it's not the same as a bib being that soft. It's somewhere in the middle. But what really makes arugula unique is its peppery finish. When you make this salad at home, please take a second and try the lettuce on its own, and you'll be amazed at how much flavor you can get from a piece of lettuce. Now, here in our brand new stainless steel salad spinner, I have 2 cups of arugula. We've already rinsed it. So now I'm just going to remove the water from it. Put the lid on top. And I like to say, we're just going to take it for a ride.
Spin away.
Spinning away. Lucky number 7. I'm going to stop it. And here we go. I have my arugula. Super well dried. because of the aqua vent basket. I'm going to pour my extra water out. And of course, the advantage of the new stainless steel salad spinner is it looks great going from the kitchen to the table. So I'm going to take my arugula leaves, I'm going to put them right back in there. Everybody in.
Good to the last piece.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to prepare the other ingredients.
Can I help?
Yeah, actually. Can you take that away?
Get rid of that.
Thanks. Before I start preparing everything else, I want to do one step that a lot of people forget about. I'm going to season my salad greens. Now, it's actually like a culinary commandment that whatever is green, you have to season. Whether it's this or broccoli or asparagus, anything green needs some salt to it. If you do this one simple thing, you're going to take your salads to a whole new level. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in there. I'm not going to put any pepper because we got a peppery finish.
Makes sense.
With the arugula. I'm going to toss it around a little bit.
Normally you would if you were making with regular lettuce, you'd put pepper too.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to put this aside for a second, and we're going to get ready to prepare our fennel. Now, if you're not familiar, this is a fennel bulb. It is one of the most unique vegetables in the whole culinary world. It actually gives us three things no one else does. One, a vegetable, and that's the white part here. It also gives us a seed, fennel seeds, and those are very common in Italian sausage. And the last thing it does is give us an herb, and that is these green parts here. These are called fronds, F-R-O-N-D-S, a frond. And what you do with this is you take these off as you're preparing it, you put it off to the side, and just as about the time you're about to serve, you throw it in as a garnish. It gives you a nice pop of color, and it reinforces that great fennel flavor. Now, speaking of fennel flavor, the fennel bulb itself has a terrific licoricey flavor.
I like it.
I love it raw.
I like it in soups a lot.
Oh yeah, oh that's great application.
It does have like a licorice.
It's a good licorice flavor, but it's not really the same as like licorice candy. It's not that sweet.
No, it's not as strong.
No, but a great, great flavor. And it's going to go great in our salad. So here's how we prepare this. I'm going to take the fennel bulb, and I'm just going to cut the tops off. Nicole, could you pull some of those fronds off and save it for me? Okay. Sometimes the root is still intact, and it looks a little brown, so you can just cut that right off. From there, we're going to cut our fennel in half. Now, there's a little core right here. I like to cut that out of the fennel. The core tends to be a little more dense. It's a different texture than everything else and kind of gets in the way. So I'm just going to do a nice simple V-cut.
You're using my favorite Zyliss Comfort Pro chef's knife, Matt.
Absolutely. What a great knife.
The one I will not be without in my kitchen.
Amen. From here, you do a nice simple slice of your fennel. Now this is a great time to use our mandolin, or you can use our 4-in-1 slicer. We have a bunch of tools to make this really easy. So I've already processed 2 whole fennel heads right here. I'm going to add this to our bowl with our arugula, and we're going to move on to our next item. The next thing we're going to add are some bell peppers. This is just to give our salad a little more color, a little bit of texture as well. So this is just 1 whole yellow orange bell pepper. So I'm going to put that in there.
Is it yellow or is it orange, Matt?
It's yellowy orange.
Okay, got that.
Yeah. We're also going to put some tomato in there. I like to add tomato. It gives it a little bit of acid and, again, a different texture. Now, I like to use Roma tomatoes for this because they have a nice firmness to them that is really easy to cut and process. Here's how we're going to cut this. I don't want to have the seeds or the pulp of the tomato in my salad. You ready? This is where you're taking notes.
I'm taking notes.
Taking notes.
Everything.
So we're going to
and I think it's being filmed too, just in case I forget.
Excellent. So we're going to take our knife and we're just going to cut around the sides of the tomato, cutting out and around the inside. So here is all the pulp and all the seeds. We don't need this, so I'm just going to throw it away. Here is that great tomato flesh, and that's what I want in my salad. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to make some really long cuts, some julienne cuts for my tomato.
That made quick work of that.
Yeah. Now you might remember from the first time we did this, the way you hold your chef knife is this pinch grip. A lot of people like to hold it like this. A lot of people hold it like this. This is the right way to do it, with your fingers right on the blade. I like to call it the pencil grip because it's kind of like writing with a pencil, only the other way. So we're going to finish our tomato. We're going to add this right into our salad. Now, the last ingredient that we're going to add that's a really, really big ingredient is our orange. You can use any kind of orange you like for this salad. You can use navels. Do you like blood oranges?
I love blood oranges.
I love blood oranges.
A little scary if you don't know about them
If you
until
don't know,
you cut
yeah,
them open the
yeah.
first time, but they're delicious.
Those look great in this salad. My favorite to use, though, is actually the clementine. These are those little oranges that you find in bags in a
They call
grocery
them
store.
halos and have different
Halos.
names for them. Yep,
Yeah.
cuties, I think, is another
Cuties.
one. Yeah,
Great for kids' lunches, stuff like that.
or my husband's lunch.
These are great because the skin comes off really, really easy. Here's how you process this for this salad. So I'm going to take the ends off.
Are you going to supreme the clementine?
I'm going to. I was going to save that for a surprise, but yes, I am.
I love this technique.
So here we have the ends cut off. We're just going to make a nice little slice. And as advertised,
Ha-ha.
the outside of this comes off super easy. And we just throw those away. Now from here, if you want to make this a really fancy salad, you want to put some nice culinary terms in it, and maybe charge your family to eat the salad, I'm going to show you how to do an orange supreme. So the reason we do a supreme is the pith of an orange can be very bitter. This cut will remove the pith from the orange, just leaving the really nice acidic body to it. So all you do is you look and kind of cut between where you see the pith and you get the supreme. I'm going to get a better cut for you.
You're brave. I always do this with a smaller paring or little utility knife. That's the difference between a trained chef and, well, me.
That's why I get paid the big bucks. So here's an orange supreme. I'll do one more. And again, the idea here is that there's no pith on the orange. Again, we want to keep those bitter flavors out of our salad. So I'm going to put these in.
It looks and tastes better both.
I did that earlier, and I here have a whole cup of these clementines that I did a supreme cut on. So I'm going to put those in there. Now, the last ingredient I'm going to add to this is a little bit of parsley. This is parsley leaves. I'm just going to remind you that with the Comfort Pro knife, we have this little indent here. That's where you put your hands when you're mincing things like herbs. So you give, maybe half a bunch of parsley, a nice rough chop, you throw it in your salad. So I'm going to take about a half a bunch and put it in there. Now, right now, we have a fantastic base for a salad. We have the peppery arugula, we have the fennel with its terrific licorice flavor, we got some great acidic notes from the tomato, from the bell pepper, and of course the sweetness from the oranges. But we need something to tie this all together, and that is going to be our lemon vinaigrette.
The dressing, the best part.
So to make our vinaigrette, I'm going to use the Easy Blend shaker. In here I have 3/4 cup of olive oil. To that, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Whenever you're making a vinaigrette, the most important thing to remember is the ratio, 3:1. Now, this is not an exact ratio, because I can see the emails coming already. Matt, I made the vinaigrette and it wasn't purpose. You're perfect. Your 3:1 doesn't work.
I like mine more tart.
I like it more tart.
Yeah.
So feel free to play with the proportions. And remember that sometimes one lemon is going to be much more acidic than another lemon. Olive oil is the same thing. So be sure to taste this before you put it on your salad to make sure it's what you want. Now, there's one more ingredient to go in here, and that is our friend Dijon mustard. I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard in here. And Nicole, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you just to shake this up.
Oh,
While
easy. I can do that. That's simple.
Excellent. I'm going to explain why we put Dijon mustard in our vinaigrette. Dijon mustard is what we call an emulsifier. Now, why do we need an emulsifier in a vinaigrette? Well, we all know that oil and water don't mix. And in this case, something like a vinegar or lemon juice, they're mostly water. When you shake these things up, and we know again from 8th grade science class, you shake them up. If you put that out on a table In about 2 minutes, that oil and vinegar are going to separate. What an emulsifier does, the Dijon mustard in this case, we add it to this mixture, which is the water and the oil, and it's going to jump in the middle and stabilize the whole thing so that when it's put out, it won't break or separate. Now, a well-made vinaigrette is going to last in your refrigerator 2 to 3 days. If you can master this technique, it has applications all over your kitchen. Now, the Dijon mustard does something else. It also gives us a sense of thickness to the vinaigrette, which in the culinary world we call viscosity.
That's a big word, Matt.
Viscosity. It's a big word, and it turns your salad from $7 to $10. And it's also a great word to use at a party, right? So let's say someone gives you a pina colada, that's a little too thin. You go up to your friend and you say, hey, the viscosity
is off.
And you know what I would do? If someone said my pina colada was too thin?
I don't know, what would you do?
I would put Dijon mustard in it. Yes, and I'd thicken it back up.
Remind me to never order a pina colada if I come to your house for a party.
Now, it's really great to have your vinaigrette be a little bit thicker because it's going to cling better to the leaves. Now, I'm going to taste.
Now you can see if I shook it up right.
See if you shook this up right. Give it a quick taste.
Tart enough?
Tart enough.
Good.
I just want to give it a little bit of salt. I'm going to give it a little blast of pepper.
Shake it up some more.
Yeah. Again, 3 to 1 is an approximation. You have to taste it before you use it, and don't be afraid to add a little salt and pepper to it. Perfect. Now we're just going to dress the salad, which means we're just going to take our vinaigrette, lightly pour it over the top, and just mix it all up.
That's going to taste yummy with the arugula and fennel all in there. I like that salad base.
Now you can see that this is a really bright, kind of festive salad, perfect for the summer. You got the whites and the reds and all the different colors from the fruit. It's a great, great salad. I hope you try this at home. I hope you make it all summer long. Thank you. Hi everybody, we're here at Marche and we're talking to the head cheesemonger, Steve. Steve, can you tell us a little bit about Marche?
Absolutely. We are a cut-to-order cheese and charcuterie shop inspired by a lot of European markets that you'll find around Italy and France.
Awesome. What kind of products do you have here?
Oh, we cover everything: cheese, specialty jams, charcuterie, olives, crackers, breads, and a lot of wine.
So it's a one-stop shop for everything you need.
I like this place already because your sign says we're aged and stinky is a good thing. How can you be in a bad place when you have a sign like that?
Absolutely.
And it is a little stinky in here from the cheese, not from us, of course. But I want to ask you a question. Can you please demystify what in the heck charcuterie means? I didn't even know what this word was until 5 years ago. So can you help us all out with this a bit?
Absolutely. It's a French term that just means cured or preserved meat. So it doesn't encompass cheese at all.
Aha. Good to know that. Good to know that. Because when I think charcuterie, I think the cheese, the meat, the whole thing. So it's really just referring to the meat.
Absolutely.
All right. Good to know.
So Steve, I have one question for you. Do you have any tips or pointers that you can share with our friends here about building a cheese and charcuterie board? Maybe like how much should I be buying for the people who are at the party?
Well, first off, you got to find somebody. But if you don't have somebody, basic recommendations is know your audience. I know men like to eat a lot more than ladies, so usually about 3 ounces per serving. Is this a meal? Is it an appetizer? Kind of gauge and pick things that you really want to share with your friends.
I can understand what you're saying about knowing your audience because you should see my brother-in-law. 3 ounces is going to go on 1 cracker and be done. So that's what you mean, know your audience. If you got big eaters, buy more.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Hey, can you show us a little bit around the shop?
Absolutely. So, grab and go, easy, convenient items. I've got small format cheeses in this case, some smaller format charcuteries, and then our big, beautiful cases. Everything here is cut fresh off the wheel to order. Nothing's pre-wrapped, slowly dying like we might find elsewhere. but Italy, France, Wisconsin, California, even Bulgaria at times is
Awesome.
represented.
That's awesome. Can you show us the cheeses that we're using today?
Absolutely. So we'll start over here. This beautiful orange annatto colored cheese is called Red Leicester. Loosely like a cheddar, cloth bound. It's going to have some beautiful caramel notes to it.
I love the color on that. It's so vibrant for a cheese.
And it's smart to do that with your board. Change up and add a little variety. White on white is kind of boring.
Okay.
Over here, we have Marinke's Golden Gouda, an award winner from Wisconsin. Marinke is a Holland native, and it is a killer, unbelievable cheese. Throw this in your fondue next time, add it to the mix. It's awesome.
That sounds awesome. And then we have one more, right?
Yeah. French Camembert. Beautiful cow's milk cheese. Here in the States, it's pasteurized. But a little stinky, a little mushroomy, beautiful, and as it ages, it gets ooey gooey.
Do we remove the rind on that one?
No, absolutely.
You recommend eating it on?
Higher moisture cheeses, eat the rind. If it's
Okay.
wax
Yeah.
or loose paraffin wax, like you'll see in Spanish cheeses, you want to not eat that. But the rule of thumb is if you can squish it, if it's got high moisture,
Eat
the
it.
cheesemaker wants you to eat it.
Okay, good to know.
I don't know that my brother-in-law knows that one. He just thought it was really chewy cheese.
Just give it some honey. If anyone is offended by any of those flavors, add some sweetness. Us Americans really love our sugar, so.
That's awesome. Thank you, Stephen. We appreciate your time today.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you for
Great to meet
joining.
you. Thanks for educating us a little bit more on the topic of charcuterie.
You got it.
Today we've got the new Cole & Mason Burden and Barkway Acacia cutting, carving, and serving boards. What I love about these is that they're made from sustainable acacia wood. Because they're a wood product, you do want to hand wash these and dry them. The dishwasher is the enemy of all things wood in the kitchen, so that's really important to remember. Things will last for years to come if you take good care of them. What we love about the Burden carving board is the fact that you've got these really nice juice channels that run across as well as around the perimeter of the board, allowing all of your juices, if you're carving a chicken or a roast, to wind up right here in this little indentation in the corner for easy cleanup. And there's also a super nice little pour spout, which you'll see right here. So when you're done carving, you can take it over to the sink or to your pot if you're going to be making a gravy, and you can just pour off all your juices right there and not have a big mess all over your counter and your apron. So this is the Burden cutting and carving board. You can also use this as a serving board. So you'll notice that the opposite side, with our nice Cole & Mason logo down here, is perfect and beautiful to use for serving. You could do a charcuterie board here, a sangria board or dessert board. That's really a popular trend right now, and there's so many different possibilities that you can utilize this beautiful acacia wood board for. And as part of the same family, we have the Barkway acacia boards, and they come in two different sizes. We've got the small and the medium. You'll notice these have the nice little hanger on the top, so if you want to put them on display in the kitchen, makes it really easy to do that, so you have quick, fast access to them. And these, again, can be used for serving cheese and crackers or anything that you might have out for your guests. Just a really nice, beautiful, fun way. They're functional, but they also have serving applications too. So hopefully you'll get a chance to enjoy utilizing the Cole & Mason Burden and Barkway serving boards.
Today I'd like to show you an alternative use for our fantastic new cutting boards. Sure, they're great as cutting boards, but they're also great as a charcuterie board. So what I'd like to make for you today is a very, very classic charcuterie board with cheese and meats. You've probably had this at parties or maybe even made them yourself. Now, before I start laying out my ingredients, I like to share with you a couple rules that I like to follow when I'm putting a charcuterie board together. Because contrary to what our accounting department might say when they see my expense reports, I do like rules. I think it's really good to help focus our creativity. And when you go to the grocery store, you have so many options to choose from. How do you pick the right one? Well, maybe these rules can help refine your search, give you a little more direction. Rule number one, when I'm making a charcuterie board, buy something you like. This is super important. I'm going to give you a couple reasons. Number one, you're paying for it. So make sure that what's on that board you like. The second reason is if you're taking this board to, let's say, like a potluck, if you buy stuff you like, you're sure to be able to eat at that potluck. I've had that happen a few times where there wasn't much good food there but what I brought. The third reason is if you're lucky, the party might even cancel, then you get to eat the whole charcuterie board. Believe it or not, that happened to me about a year ago. It was my father's birthday. He had to cancel the party as everybody was bringing everything. I'd spent $150 on different charcuterie. Well, me and my family ate like kings for 2 days. So we enjoy that kind of opportunity. There are a couple rules I want to share with you too. When you're building a charcuterie board, there's a couple rules that I like to follow. These are categories of different foods that you want to put on your board. Number one, of course, put meats on there. Number two, you want to add things that are cheeses. Of course, we're going to show some of that. Rule number three, you want to add some produce to this. It's going to brighten your whole board up, give you some different colors and different textures. Number four, add something that's crunchy to this. It's going to give you a little more texture. We're talking things like nuts and crackers and seeds. They'll give a real pop to your board. The fifth thing you want to do is add like a jam or a jelly or something that people can experiment with and dip the cheeses in. The final thing is you want to add a garnish. Now don't worry about writing these things down. We're going to send you an email after our class that has all these rules printed out for you and a couple others that I think you'll find really fun and entertaining. So now let's build our board. So what I've done is I've already started plating my board, and I call this my salami river. The reason I do this is it kind of breaks the boards up into quadrants, and for me, it makes it a little easier to manage. Now my family, this is not near enough meat for a charcuterie board, so I'm going to add a couple other things, like this. This is Serrano ham. If you've never had it before, Serrano ham is very similar to prosciutto, except it comes from Spain. Now we're going to add our cheeses. This is that golden Gouda that Steve told us about earlier. A really, really delicious cheese. This is that Leicester that we talked about from Wisconsin. And finally, here's our brie. I'm so excited about this. I'm a big fan of brie. The next thing we're going to add, we're going to start adding our fruits. So I have a couple different things. Here in this well, this very unique, distinctive well, which is our juice well, I'm going to use it for something a little different. I'm going to put my olives in here. I love olives, especially an olive mix like this that has all sorts of really fun, unique flavors. A couple other things I want to add. Here are some grapes. I'm going to put this right up here by my golden Gouda. Apricots. These pair really well with this camembert brie. These are all things that you can find at a grocery store. Brighter the color, the fresher the produce it's going to be, the better your board is going to be. I'm going to put some raspberries down here too, because brie just loves raspberries. Now, I have something that I made. I think you'll like it if you try it at home. This is called a peppadew pepper. They're not that easy to find, but they're worth the search. In here, I've squirted just a little bit of goat cheese, and on top is a little bit of thyme. It's a fantastic pop of flavor in your mouth. I love these. I make them for every party I have. So I'm just going to pop a few of these on here, give us a little more color. Great. We've already got our meat, our cheese, we got our vegetables. Now I'm going to add that kind of jam or that dip I was telling you about, and that is a clementine dip. This is going to pair really brilliantly with our brie. So I'm going to pop that right here. Now we need something with texture. We need something with crunch. So I'm going to take some crackers. I'm going to put them up here. And I'm going to fill in some of the space here with some nuts. I love smoked almonds. They're going to pair really well with this cheese down here. I have some pecans. These have a nice little salt to them, roasted pecans. Put those right there. Fill it my space in here. The last thing, and this is number 6, we're going to garnish. So I have some very classic garnishes here. This is some rosemary. I'm just going to put it right there. Rosemary is a really nice garnish because it has a great perfume to it. It gives us a nice pop of color. It makes the board just smell a little bit better. So I'm going to pop that right there. And then finally, I have what is called in the culinary world nasturtium. These are edible flowers. Now, if you have these around, I think it's really fun to add some edible flowers to your board because it gives it a nice pop of color. And, well, at least for my family, there's that one brother-in-law who will eat like anything. And so when you take this out, he looks at it and says, oh man, those are flowers. Who's going to eat that? And everybody says, hey, you got to try and eat that. And he eats it and it becomes like a big thing. So here is my charcuterie board. I hope you try this at home. I can't wait to dig into this. Thank you very much.
I'm here with one of my favorite products that I think oftentimes gets underutilized in the kitchen. This is the Zyliss egg slicer and wedger. You'll see it has both a slicing blade as well as a wedging blade. And of course it's designed for eggs specifically. And I'm sure our product development folks wouldn't like it that I'm telling you that it also works on firm strawberries and firm mushrooms. But I like to have things in the kitchen that have multiple purposes, and this item definitely does that. So today we're gonna show it with the strawberries. And you wanna have, like I said, a firm strawberry, and you wanna have the top stem cut off. And then just fit it in here whatever way fits best. It depends on the size of the berry. I usually like to put the flat side down, and then just press down on your top blade there. And you're gonna get really nice, evenly sliced strawberries that are ready for your salad, for your glass of sangria, for your brownie sundae, or whatever you might be making. Enjoy using the Zyliss egg slicer for multiple applications. One of the tools I really like to have in my kitchen is a mandolin or a slicer, and the problem with so many of them is they're big and they take up a ton of space. What's great about this easy control handheld slicer is that it's pretty compact and it does an awful lot. I'll walk you through it real quick in terms of the features, and then I will show its use with the lime here today. So you have easy adjustability on this to do both straight slices as well as julienne. So your straight slices can be adjusted here on the side, utilizing this little gray button. If you push all the way forward, it basically eliminates the gap here so you can't slice. That will be the locked position and the safe position to store it in. Then as I pull towards myself, you'll notice that this little ramp goes down, and that is basically increasing the gap, adjusting the size of the thickness. So all the way back towards myself is gonna be the thickest slice, and then forward in increments is gonna give you thinner slices. So I'm gonna cut the lime almost all the way to the back, not super thick. We'll try it about there. For julienne, again, it's just push that right through and your julienne blade comes out. And then if you don't want to do julienne, just pop it back and the julienne blade goes away. Very convenient. You've got a nice handle, which is easy to hold on to. And then the important part of any mandolin or slicer is this food guide. You always want to make sure that you're utilizing the tool with the food guide in place. Notice this one attaches very well. And then you can remove this food plunger depending on the size of the food that you're cutting. You're going to either have your hand on the outside if it's something that's large and sticking out. If not, you're going to utilize the plunger like with the lime, pop it in here. And then because I don't have a zucchini or something that's sticking out the top, I can fill the gap with this little guy and put my pressure on there with my hand on the food guide. So I'm nowhere near that blade as I'm slicing. And we're gonna get really nice, thinly cut limes that are gonna be perfect to go into our sangria or our water glass or whatever you need citrus for. Great tool, gives you nice even slices and keeps your hands safely away from the blade. I really like the Easy Control handheld slicer for many different applications. One of my favorite beverages to make for summertime entertaining is sangria, or depending on where you're from, you might pronounce it sangria, which is probably more correct. But here I say sangria. And sangria is basically a fruity wine beverage that can be served sparkling, not sparkling. You can do it with red wine, you can do it with white wine. I happen to love red sangria, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. So we've got this awesome new burden carving and serving board from Cole & Mason that has the juice channel that we've already talked about, which is great. And it also has the nice little well here for collecting all those juices, which makes a perfect spot for our pitcher of sangria today. Look at that, fits right there. You could also use more of a traditional wine carafe if that's what you have, but it's just a nice little spot for that to go. So the whole purpose of what we're gonna talk about doing here with this board is making it basically a make your own glass of sangria with whatever fruits that you like. And it's just great when you're gonna do a simple summertime patio barbecue or out on the deck or at the lake house. Just a really fun thing. So in the pitcher for our sangria, I'll make sure that we send everybody a recipe for it. You can really mix and match a lot, but you're gonna do your red wine, some kind of a citrus liqueur. I usually use triple sec. You can use fruit juices, whatever you like. You can do a peach, you can do orange. Sometimes a little bit of lime is good. Kind of depends on the wine that you start with as to how sweet you need to go with some of the other items that you put in there. But you're gonna mix all those things up. Usually a little bit of a berry liqueur, a raspberry or blackberry liqueur goes nice in there. Some people use a fruit brandy. And then apple slices, orange slices, you can put some lime in there, some peach. You can make that up a day or two ahead of time, just cover it and put it in the refrigerator. Just don't leave it too long. Your fruits will start to get a little bit too ripe and then it won't taste good. So a couple days in advance is fine on that one. And then it'll be nice and cold and ready for you to make into your glass of sangria. So let's get into making it look beautiful. You can use a lot of your Zyliss tools. We've already talked about the egg slicer on the strawberries. You can use your handheld slicer for your citrus. Really a fun way to pull out some of your tools that you already have and utilize those. So let's go ahead and get these things set up so it looks beautiful. And again, all these prep things can be done ahead of time. So the day of your party, you're just pulling them out of the fridge and making your board look beautiful. Get some apples up here. And this is really fun because everybody can grab their glass and start making it exactly the way that they enjoy it. Get our citrus on here. And you're gonna serve this with a nice bowl of ice so that everybody can macerate their own fruit in their glass. And then we'll add the ice to it. You'll see how we're gonna do that in just a minute. So there's really no special way you gotta do this, just make it look pretty. Get some nectarines or peaches on here. Let's see, a little bit of orange. I think I'd like these to go back here. These look yummy. I must say we've been sampling a few of these and I'm ready for summertime fruit. This is a great way to utilize what looks pretty and tastes good and whatever's ripe. And if any of these things are not ripe at your market, don't worry about it. You can leave them off, use something else. If you like kiwi, I don't happen to be a kiwi fan, but if you like kiwi, throw them on here. And a few weeks ago when I was making this particular board for the first time, I could not find any peaches or nectarines. So guess what? The freezer section at my market was perfect. I just defrosted them and those worked totally fine. So keep that in mind if you really want to use peaches, but they're off season. Don't hesitate to use frozen. And that could be true for quite a few of the items on this board. Okay, what am I missing? I think we've got the elements. Now it's time for a little garnish. So let's get some mint on there. That'll fancy it up. Don't tell anybody, but I usually like to do that too. My friends don't like it when I do that because they start to pour and guess what they get in their glass? They get the big old chunk of mint, but I think it's pretty, so we're gonna have it. And you can just pop this around anywhere. If you don't have mint, use something else. You just make sure it's an edible herb that you haven't recently sprayed with Roundup, preferably. We like your guests to be able to come back to your next party as well. And you can use as little garnish or as much as you like. I tend to over garnish things, so I think I better just quit right there. Okay, how pretty is that? Your friends are gonna come over and just be absolutely impressed that you were able to put something like that together. And now the best part of it is we all get to enjoy a glass of sangria. So what you're gonna do is grab your glass. You're gonna have your guests put whatever fruits they like into their glass. And what we're gonna do, I've got some crazy blueberries here flying everywhere. We're going to macerate these. So Matt had a big word today, and it was viscosity. And my big word for the day is macerate. And basically it means to just mush all this up so the flavors really come together. So berries are perfect for this because that's where that flavor is when we smash them up. Like if you've ever made a mojito, you have the mint that's been muddled and macerated. So we're gonna grab another great Zyliss tool, the mini masher. So you need a wide mouth glass for this. And you're just gonna press all these fruits together. And that's gonna help bring their flavor out. All right, so we have that in there. It kind of looks like a bit of a mess. But that's okay, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna add our ice. And then we're gonna take our awesome sangria that we've made up here. Pour that in. And I happen to like mine a little bit sparkling. So we're gonna add a little bit of cava. You could use a Prosecco or a sparkling wine. Again, don't use the finest bottle of sparkling wine for this. You just want one that's not too sweet. You want it on the dry side. Top that off there. You can stir it if you want. I don't always worry about that. And you have to have a garnish because all good cocktails have a garnish. And there you have it. There's our delicious sparkling sangria. I can taste summer now. So enjoy your sangria board with your friends and impress them with your capabilities. Happy summer. You hear a lot of people talking about kitchen hacks, which is a fancy word of saying a kitchen time saver or something that makes life a little bit easier. And I have to say, of all of the tools we make at Zyliss, the Easy Pull food processor is my favorite. This item definitely demands the small amount of real estate it takes up in any kitchen. What I like about it is that it cuts things evenly or chops things evenly, and it doesn't have a lot of parts and pieces. You've got the top, you've got your inside blade with this key little piece on the bottom that does come off for cleaning. And what that does is it allows you, as you pull, it allows that bottom little piece to scrape the bottom of the bowl, pull the food upward in between the blades as they're rotating around so that you get the nice, even chopping that you're looking for. So I could use a knife to cut these nuts that I'm gonna do here today and make a mess all over my board and have nuts scattered everywhere and then have to corral everything to go back into my recipe bowl. Or I can pop them all into my Zyliss Easy Pull food processor and do it a lot faster. So you wanna have your blade in first before you add your food. And you'll watch as I pull this with my hand on top, The blades are gonna go around, and that is what helps to make this work evenly. And I don't like my walnuts to be super fine, so I'll give it a couple more pulls and we'll check and see what we've got. If you want it to be even finer, you could keep going, but I like those the way they look right there. So I'm gonna pull this out. And right in one easy, convenient spot, I've got everything I need to pop into my brownie bowl or whatever my recipe happens to be. Now, another nice thing about this is for cleaning purposes, dump your food out, pop your blade back in, put one little drop of dish soap and a little bit of water. You don't need very much, maybe I don't know, half an inch or so on the bottom. And then give it a few pulls and it will self-clean. If it's oily like nuts or something greasy, you might have to take a sponge in there with the dish soap real quickly and wipe around. But otherwise, it'll clean itself. The lid will be easy to wipe off, and you don't even have to put this in the dishwasher. If you do decide to go in the dishwasher, be sure not to put the lid in there because that's where your cord and your pull mechanism is, and that should not go in the dishwasher. But the Zyliss Easy Pull Food Processor, definitely a time saver in the kitchen and one of my favorite items of all times. I hope you enjoy using it as well. I've got the Cole & Mason Saunderton Urban Spice Shaker to share with you today. And this is a super nice product for all those folks like me that like their cupboards to be as organized as possible, or at least aspire to have organized cupboards. So what this does for you is it allows you to have 5 different herbs or spices, or in the case we're gonna show here in a minute, holiday or cookie decorating sprinkles, all together in one place. You've got 5 separate compartments. You can kind of see that from the bottom as well, that you can fill with your own blends, or maybe you want to do all Italian seasonings or all of your chilies and Mexican seasonings together. And then we include little labels for you so that you can put them on the top or the bottom or wherever you like to label what your spice jars are filled with. So we've had some questions on opening and closing the Saunderton, and it's really quite simple, but there's a bit of a trick. You got to pay attention to this little white line on the black collar here at the top, and then there is a lock and an unlock icon right below that. So what you want to do is just take your hand around that black collar only. You don't want to be on this top piece because that's what you use to dial in shake versus pour. So with your hand around that black collar, turn it clockwise until it reaches that little unlock icon. So it's just a quick little turn. There's not a lot of movement there. So you have the lid off, and then when you want to put it back on, just pop it right on top, have that little line right there line up with the unlock icon, and then just give it a twist counterclockwise, and then that white line will line up with the lock graphic, and you're good to go. Then that's secured, and then you're able to take and twist the top part to get exactly what spice, or in this case, sprinkle that you want. So this top piece here is how you're going to adjust from a sprinkle to a pour, and you dial it to the section you want, and then you can just give this little guy a twist, and that's gonna give you a sprinkle versus a wider pour. In the case of the jimmies or the sprinkles I'm working with today, I'm gonna use the wider pour because they're a larger item, but if this was something fine like a salt or a powder, you definitely are gonna wanna take and use it with the shaker section open as opposed to the pour spout. So now you're ready to go decorate and have a good time, whether it be your cupcakes you frosted for the bake sale or your sugar cookies for the holidays. It's really a fun item, and it keeps everything nice and tidy in one place. I hope you have fun using the Saunderton in your kitchen too, whether it be for sprinkles or its intended purpose of herbs and spices. Everybody loves dessert, and stress spelled backwards is dessert. So how do we unstress ourselves? We have dessert. And what a more fun way to do that than by utilizing the Cole & Mason Barkway Acacia wood serving board as a vehicle for our dessert ingredients. We'll build a brownie sundae, of course, using brownies that we made in our Zyliss Bake tart pan or 8-inch square bottom removable pan. put them in a mason jar or other fun jar that you may have at home. And we'll build our sundae right here. So you can put this out at your next get together with family and friends and let everybody build their own dessert. The nice part is you can have it all built up ahead of time. Just cover it with plastic, set it aside. And when it's time for dessert, you pull this out, grab your ice cream out of the freezer, get your brownie cups, which could also be done ahead of time, and you're ready to go. So let's make a sundae, because I'm ready for one. The hardest part about doing this is not filling it too full, so there's room for all the fun toppings that we love to have. So let's make this great with some caramel sauce. You could use chocolate, you could use fudge, whatever topping you have or like best is gonna be amazing. And I think that cookie looks pretty good to pop in there. Love me some colored candy pieces. Gotta have nuts on your sundae. Little pistachios, some little toffee bits sound pretty good to me. Notice I'm skipping the fruit. It looks good, but I'm gonna skip that today. Today is not about eating healthy. It's about building a really fun and delicious dessert board. All right, we're gonna use our Saunderton urban spice shaker that we showed with sprinkles. Get some nice color on there. And this is great for kids' birthday parties, all different kinds of events. It's inexpensive to make, it's fun. If you don't have mason jars, usually the local Goodwill or thrift shops have them. And there you've got it. You've got your delicious sundae that just took seconds to make, and everyone can make it exactly the way they like it. Enjoy. Matt, look at all the amazing food we made here today using the new tools. I'm ready for happy hour. We need our friends to come over and partake.
Absolutely. It has been a great, really productive day today. And I'm so excited about all the food we make using the new Zyliss and Coleman Mason products. I am so impressed with the stainless steel salad spinner. I think it just looks so great on a table.
It does. It really makes this come full circle, and we've got the whole party right here. You've got your starters. You could have this as your, if you're doing a light tapas and a light appetizer kind of dinner, this is perfect. You've got your sangria, add our dessert board to finish it off, and here's the party right here. We just need our friends to come and join us.
We sure do, and I am so excited about the versatility of these cutting boards. Not only are they great cutting boards, but that you can repurpose them and use them for these party boards.
And they're attractive.
Before we wrap up, we want to thank Marcel's Culinary Experience for hosting us. They've been really delightful, and we want to thank you as well for your time and attention, and we hope that you will use these products at home. We hope that these recipes will give you some inspiration to use these products and share these ideas and recipes with your retailers. Sound good?
Definitely. I'm ready for happy hour.
All right, let's
get started.
Let's get some of our friends in here and let's dig into some of this food, everybody.